Yo, Z-Pack, it's your boy ZVlogg MD. Check it out. In today's ZVlogg, I want to talk about nursing. Particularly nursing staffing ratios. So this came up because recently I got a Facebook message from a nurse. You know, I work as an RN for a mid-sized hospital. All day we hear about how our budget's being cut and how Obamacare is killing us, and our staffing ratios keep increasing, but our responsibilities also keep increasing, and our pay is stagnant. The whole time, the CEO is taking home 6- and 7-figure bonuses. You know, when we complain about it because quality care is literally so bad, patients are dying, we're not allowed to talk about it. When we complain, they say, you're strong, you can make it work, just, you know, don't work harder, work smarter, etc. And it is demoralizing because we feel like failures, and yet it's really the acuity, and we're put in these impossible situations. I wanted to continue the discussion here. And, you know, as a doctor, recently I had the honor of being asked by the ANA to speak at their keynote in October. And so I'm thinking a lot about how do we honor this huge contribution that nurses have while sort of weighing all the issues back and forth. Now, it's very easy to hate on administrators. In fact, it's fun and I enjoy it. My dad always says, you want to be totally risk averse in medicine, because one day if you are kissing all the right buttocks and you are totally risk averse, one day you will reach the apex of medicine, hospital CEO. And there's definitely some truth to that, but at the same time, you know, in many ways, administrators are struggling with the same issues we are. They just have to deal with the big economic picture. So are nurses seeing too many patients per nurse? As a doctor, I know that the nurse is the front line giving me that information of what's going on, because I can't be there the whole time. And in fact, I have to do the 5-minute U-turn at the foot of the bed because I'm busy spending 5 hours with the freaking electronic health record that was supposed to make our lives easier, but actually made it glorifiedly worse, because it's nothing but a massive cash register. It's not about patient care. And nurses feel this too. So here the nurses are struggling with too many patients, too few nurses. Here the doctors are with the same thing. The administrators are struggling with shrinking budgets. And so how do we make it all work? Now, am I missing something? Is it just, it intuitively feels right to me that a nurse should have fewer patients in order to provide the best possible care. And that care should not be caring for the EHR. It should be caring for the patient. So we need better technology to bind us together, right? We also need a different measure of patient satisfaction other than, you know, are we treating them like they're in a freaking hotel? Are we giving them food and RN being refreshments and narcotics? Is that what it's about? No, it's about making sure you're healthy and safe in the most dangerous place in the universe, which is a hospital. You know, as a doctor, I know this. As a patient, I know this even more deeply, because when my wife was giving birth to our first child, you know, the doctor came in, did a 5-minute U-turn and had to see a billion other patients, but it was the L&D nurse who held our hands, who calmed mostly me down because I was freaking out. And, you know, we still remember this nurse, you know, so deeply because of the human connection that she made. So nurses are the heart and soul of medicine, and are we destroying the heart and soul of medicine? So this is the discussion I want to have in the comments below. I want to hear from nurses. I want to hear from doctors. I want to hear from administrators. Are we missing something here? Tell us about your angle on this. Now, I have no sympathy for administrators who've never had clinical experience who try to mandate how we behave clinically, because you need to just stop and go see a patient. And after you do that, then come talk to us, because then we'll listen. But the administrators who've had clinical experience, et cetera, or who just get it, you know, I want to hear, what's your take on this nursing issue? Is it that we have too few nurses? Is it that our schools aren't doing a good job of producing well-trained nurses? Because we had some comments along that lines in the Facebook discussion. And then the other big question that was raised on the Facebook thing was, what do we do? And look, I'm a big fan of standing up and fighting on social media, like this whole Joy Behar thing with the nurse's stethoscope. Like if nurses could make that much of an impact on social media, imagine what they could do if they turned that same anger towards things like staffing ratios. Now there's this show me your stethoscope movement that's happening, and they're having a march in Washington, a rally in Washington on May 12th. I can't make it because if I go, I'll get divorced because it's over my anniversary. As much as I love nurses, I love my marriage more. This is a chance to stand up using our organizations, our organized medicine organizations like ANA, you know, ENA, these sort of organizations. That's important too, but we need to have a strong collective voice, or no one's going to listen to us. And then these administrators who have no clinical experience, who are nothing but glorified bean counters, who are trying just to keep their job, and are the ones who are kissing all the right buttocks to reach the apex of medicine, they're going to win. Patients are going to lose. We're going to burn out our most caring, empathic caregivers, and that is nurses, and that will be a disaster for everybody especially for people like me who often become patients. And one last thing I want to talk about is the relationship between doctors and nurses. Now, in my travels, I have seen things that are so horrific, where the way doctors are yelling at nurses and treating them in the community in particular is just unbelievably horrific. But I've also seen it go the other way at the academic institutions where the nurses treat the house staff like crap and eat their young when they're training their own. And we need to treat each other with respect as teammates taking care of patients. And this just goes without saying, but it needs to have saying because we don't do it. And the truth is, some of my biggest regrets in my career are when I've lost my temper, either with a nurse or with a colleague or with someone in the ER, and I remember those and relive those and feel terrible about them. But I think there's some of us who just weren't trained and we just do that repeatedly. It's inexcusable. There is never an excuse to do this to another human being working to help patients. There just isn't. And last but not least, can we freaking eat some food at the nurses station, Jaco? What the heck? And yes, I'm going to keep calling you Jaco because this Joint Commission thing isn't flying with me. Anyways, mad love to my nurses out there. Leave comments below. Let's start a movement, ZPAC. Let's make things better. Let's stop complaining and actually try to do something. ZDogg out.